everyone. So today I'm going to cover one of my favorite books that I've ever read, which is Atomic Habits. And I'll try and pick up the most important points from the book so that you can skim through whenever you want. So here basically the author talks about, rather than have a I have to do this attitude, develop a I get to do this attitude. So basically what this means is that rather than saying, and rather than the self talk of, okay, I have to go to job, I have to get up in the morning, I have to do this, I have to do that. No, these are depressing statements. Rather, think how you get to do this, how you get to make your country better, how you get to impact the lives of so many people, how at your job you are enabling other people to do their job better, or how you are helping customers and clients solve their problems. When you think big, when you think holistically, you are empowered with something much more than yourself. And whenever the vision, whenever the wise statement is greater than an individual, even if that individual is you get empowered and you feel like delivering far more. There was a story where there was a mason, he was laying bricks. So if somebody asked him, so what are you doing? He said, I am laying bricks. There was another mason working right beside him. The same person asked that second guy, okay, so what are you doing? And the second mason said that I am building a cathedral. So they were doing the exact same thing, getting paid the exact same amount, but the attitude of the second person was far more big, and definitely he would be far more positive. So try to associate yourself with something big of a massive scale, and it will give you a lot of energy. Next, we have the difference between motion and action. So what the author says is that often there are times when we tend to do something just so that we can keep ourselves busy. It's not that this is intentional, but often at times you would start doing things which are not really impacting your results, rather simply keeping you busy and might not have an impact or the intended consequence as well. So this is what the author says, that try to be result oriented and be directional. Now it wasn't mentioned very explicitly in this book, but I feel direction is one of the most important parameters for success. So basically there are 4 parameters which determine how successful you're going to be. So one of them is direction, that is which direction you go to. So here what is important is it's very critical for you to neglect and to avoid things that you should not be wasting your time on, and choosing the right direction for your career, for your business, for your work, for your family, for your health. It's very important. For example, let's say for health, if I know eating junk is not good, drinking every day is not good, I will take a stance and keep away from that kind of a company which forces me, or which drinks almost every day, because we all know this is not good for health. Similarly, if you want to develop a good career, I would surround myself with people who are doing what I want to do and maybe get inspired and deliver results accordingly. Similarly, the other factors like effort, skill, and opportunity. Also, what is the amount of effort, the quantity of hard work you put in, what skill is required, what talents are required, and opportunity. So if you are putting in hard work, you are skilled and in the right direction, you are basically increasing your surface area for luck, and definitely opportunity is going to strike. And that's how you can be successful. Okay, so moving on, basically here the author spoke about getting action oriented rather than motion oriented. Okay, so he also talks about ensuring some of the things, like to ensure that you stay on track, you have to build good habits. So it is a human tendency that we tend to choose the path of least resistance. So let's say if we all know that go to a gym, it would be beneficial for us. If we go for a daily walk, it would be beneficial for us. But there is a lot of resistance wherein you have to get up, wear shoes, take time out, prioritize, and then go for a walk. Now, the other alternative is just probably lie on the bed or watch TV or you do binge eating. So these are paths of least resistance, and therefore you must take an effort to avoid these paths. Okay, then basically he shares an example wherein one lady had a bad nail chewing. So what she did was she got them manicured, and it is said that you will maintain what you're proud of. So she was very proud of her nails. Once, as you can see in the picture, beautiful nails. So of course you wouldn't want to chew them off, and that way she got herself cured of this bad habit. Similarly, if you are extremely careful about your eating habits, and if you are regular to the gym, automatically you would tend to avoid junk food, which could have a very bad impact. Hence, you are unlikely to consume junk food. Finally, the author also talks about that don't have a goal of reading a book, have a goal or a process or a system of becoming a reader. So let's say reading 20 minutes every day, just before sleeping at night, is far better than planning to finish a fat book. Okay, so even if you want to complete 50 books in a year, so don't focus on completing those 50 books, focus on reading half an hour every day. So this is what I was talking about in my previous example. So the author talks about setting up processes over goals. So Scott Adams had said this in his book, and the author picks it up from there and tells us that even if it's for 5 minutes, go for a walk, don't miss. Even if it's for reading for 5 minutes, do read, don't miss. Build processes, build systems. Do not fret about your goals. Your goals are set once in a while, but your goals are not enough to keep you stay on track. Your processes, your adherence to those processes will ensure that you are on track. Tracking lead measures, like the number of prospects met, etc., will definitely help you. Be the person who doesn't miss workouts. So you should have that kind of a picture for yourself. Fretting over unachieved sales targets and reading a fat book where you have no interest, working out once in a month, are examples of goals that we tend to miss out very easily. Then he also talks about building cues for better habits. So let's say one of the things, if you face this problem wherein you tend to forget things, so the author says that point at that thing. So for example, let's say you have your car keys. So you would say, I am putting my car keys on the dining table, or I am putting my pen on the desk. Okay, so when you say it out loud, the probability of you forgetting that reduces. He says, then he also talks about build a habit wherein you get to be a designer rather than be a consumer. So if a new product comes out in the market, think how you could design something similar, or how you could add value to the marketplace, rather than thinking in terms of a consumer. Visualize environments with relationships rather than with objects. So it has also been proved that your relationships with other people and with the environment would determine how happy you are, rather than what kind of a relationship you have with your mobile phone or your television. So avoid those things and visualize your environment with relationships. Becoming the type of person who doesn't miss workouts. Start calling yourself a reader. Start calling yourself, a gymmer. Moving on, the author also talks about tracking better. So that once you start to track better, you would definitely get better results. He says that, once you start tracking, whether it's you, your effort, or even your team's effort, you would start to alter behaviors. If possible, maintain and flash a scorecard, preferably as a percentage. You would know where you are with respect to the goal that you had set for yourself. As long as possible, as much as possible, try to automate any form of tracking, even if it's, say, financial tracking for self. Otherwise, make an entry immediately after the habit occurs. So what I do is, whenever I do my regular exercise, I put it down in a tracker wherein I simply update the day of that specific day. So let's say if it's 1st September, I would simply put in 1. And after 10-15 days, when you see that, you get motivated by seeing that you have not missed even a single day. So that is very motivating for you, and it definitely helps. So if you want, you can also use boards like Trello board, Asana. They are all free, and you can track your progress for something which is really important for you. Okay, then so the author also talks about, like, if you are doing something, are you measuring it right? There may be a number of instances of measuring things. Let's say many people measure their weight. Now, measuring your weight might not be the best option, because when you lose weight, the first thing that you lose is muscle mass, and that is not good for health. So he says that restricting the measurement to numbers might not be a great idea. Okay. Then secondly, he also talks about that we are wired to win. So whatever game we play, we just want to win. So be very careful and choose your games, because your time is extremely precious. You cannot do everything which exists in the world. We will simply not live that long. Okay. So be very stingy about spending time, more than being stingy on money. Okay. As Naval Ravikant also says, he also talks about this, wherein he says that whenever you can optimize for time rather than for money. And then the author talks about the never miss twice principle. He says that it's natural for any human to miss exercising once in a while if you're not well, or you have an early flight to catch, or if something really important comes up, but ensure that you never miss twice. This is a very powerful principle and can help you stay on track. Then choose your natural inclination, or select the right table. Like I was talking earlier, choose the right direction. That's the most important step towards success. And reward good habits, penalize poor habits. Remember that as well. The author talks about the Goldilocks rule, which basically says that push yourself to an extent where there is something which is approximately 4% beyond your capability. That a task which is 4% beyond your current ability strikes the right balance to get you out of the comfort zone without endangering your motivational level. So if something which is very difficult, you would lose motivation and you will simply give it up. If there is something which is too easy, you will not be energized enough to even give it a try. Show up to the process, enjoy the process, and results will automatically follow. Okay. So cues determine habit. The author talks about that. When you keep apples in front of you, definitely you would tend to eat them more regularly than when you would keep them inside a refrigerator. So do that. If you want to learn guitar, keep the guitar in front of you. Okay. So that you can practice regularly. Again, be a designer, not a consumer. And then be the person who values his own commitment. Visualize yourself to be someone who sticks to his commitment and values himself. Track as much. Tracking alters behavior. Automated tracking, else make an entry immediately. Like I covered earlier, we are wired to win whatever game you play. Choose your games very carefully. We are driven by what we can measure, and we tend to overvalue numbers. Okay, so I've already covered, but since it's very important, I have put it again. You see the paper clips example. Each time you do something nice, put this clip inside the jar, right? Okay, now the author says that boredom is not bad. So we have this tendency to be overly busy, which is again not good, because once you are too busy, you tend to kill creativity. And of course, in one of the books I had read, which was about good decision making, there were some 50 decisions. It said that there has to be a right balance between boredom and burnout. So that's again very important. Okay, so I'm also showing you the burnout and the boredom that I was talking about. So basically what happens is, when your skills are high, but the challenge is not challenging enough, then there is a risk of boredom. Okay, and you tend to be here. When your challenge is too high, but your skills are not as high, then you tend to fall into this burnout quadrant. However, when the balance is just right, then you tend to be high on productivity, you have good happiness levels, and you tend to be in the state of flow. So get into the flow. You have to enjoy the process of boredom. Instant feedback definitely helps. Focus on small goals rather than the end goal delivery. So one of the biggest points to achieve anything is to break down a seemingly large goal into smaller tasks. In project management, this is called work breakdown structure, or the WBS. And even Brian Tracy has written in his books that one of the biggest secrets of getting things done is breaking down a big goal into small tasks. Just say what is the task, who is going to do it, by when is it going to be done, and in remarks you may write how it is going to be achieved and what is the acceptance criteria. So if something needs to be done, to what quality of delivery is it expected? Okay. Then finally, so one of the examples of instant feedback is coding. If you are a coder, you would understand when your program runs, you instantly get to know whether it's working or not. And then, of course, you can keep testing it with the acceptance criteria to understand whether it fulfills all of them. Okay, that's it. Thank you. And it's a very short summary, but I have covered all the important points covered in the book. And as always, I always create content for myself. Okay, thank you. Bye.